Hello everybody, I'm JP Nordia from the Western Province Sports Council, and tonight is of course Sports Federation TV, where we talk about the various federations that belong to the Western Province Sports Council, which incidentally now, since the AGM on Wednesday night, is now no longer known as the Western Province Sports Council. It is now the Cape Town Sports Council, officially the Cape Town Sports Council. I've got some interesting guests coming up on the show. I'm standing in for Elton Davids. He's unfortunately out injured, which in the sporting arena sounds like just the right thing to do, to be out injured. We'll find out from Elton next week exactly what it is that injury is all about and whether or not that injury occurred in the sporting arena. Coming up in the show tonight, we'll be talking to a number of our guests, but we'll start it off with shooting. With me now is the chairperson of the Western Province, otherwise known as the, well, you guys are still the Western Province, the Western Province Practical Pistol Shooting Association, Hisham Ali, and of course Bernadette Remarkle. Is that correct, Hisham?
Yeah, you're correct there.
And Bernadette, well, welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, Hisham, let's start off with you. IPSC, I was asking you just before we started the show, what does IPSC stand for? I think tonight is all about us telling the viewers what is pistol shooting about, your organisation, and speaking to Bernadette a little bit about shooting, which makes her, of course, a very dangerous girl. But I'm sure you've heard that many times. Hisham, IPSC, tell us about that.
IPSC basically is practical shooting, and it is a sport which has developed over the last number of years. In the last 50 years, it's developed into a sport, into a world-class event. There's 109 regions, which is basically, 102 regions, which is effectively is 102 countries that is representative in the sport. We have a world shoot every 3 years. We've got continental shoots annually. So you'll have an Africa shoot, you'll have an Asian shoot, you'll have a North American shoot, and so on.
Before we get into the whole world demographics of shooting, we've got, in fact, we're speaking to the guys from spearfishing today, so they do a different style of shooting as well. Now, you mentioned, I think I said pistol shooting before, and you then looked at me funny and sort of, hang on, this is practical shooting. This obviously knows nothing about shooting. So guide us through this, because we've got shotgun shooting and rifle shooting and all sorts of different formats. So when you talk about practical shooting, what exactly is it? How does it work?
Practical shooting encompasses all of those firearms: handguns, shotguns, rifles, and machine carbines.
Machine carbines?
Yes, machine carbines is what we know as our fully semi-automatic rifles.
All right.
Not fully, semi-automatic.
I was about to say, what is a fully semi-automatic?
So
that's a rifle.
It's just a rifle. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get different disciplines.
Yeah.
And within each of those disciplines, you get different divisions.
Okay.
So in your handgun division, you'll get a standard firearm, which you buy off from the shelf and you can shoot.
Right.
It's called a standard firearm.
Okay.
Then you get an open, which is a modified firearm. It's the same standard firearm which you modify.
Okay, so back to just on the standard firearm, are we talking about, when we see in the movies the 9mm and they talk about the 45s?
The 9mm, the 45s. That's
okay,
it,
right,
yes. Right. So today it's the 9mm, the 45, the Glocks, the Berettas, and things like that.
Beretta is, of course, what Mel Gibson uses in Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
Apparently. And then the Swiss Army apparently use Glocks.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there if you're a movie fan.
Okay. Then we've got that division.
Yes.
So we've handled the open division, which is a modified firearm. So it's a standard firearm, but you've modified it.
Okay. When you talk about modifications,
modifications is things like you put a compensator on, which people would identify as a silencer. That type of thing, a compensator.
Right.
That's it. All it really does, it blows the smoke out the faster, allowing the second shot to come out.
I love that. That I need to get a couple of compensators for a few people that I know who generally blow smoke or alternatively hot air. Including myself, probably. Bernadette, let's bring you into the picture here. You're a practical shooter. You apparently you started off in the world of karate, Shokukai. I saw that in your bio.
No, that's the name of the club, but it's not.
Is that the name of the club? So it's not a karate club, because there is a Shokukai karate club.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. So then your pistol practical shooting club is.
It's called Shukukai.
It's called Shukukai.
Yes,
and that's a Japanese name. Why would it be? Where's the connection?
Well, I think our chair, what is Suleiman?
He's
the chairperson. He's the be-all and end-all of our club.
Yeah.
He named that club Shukukai based on his previous exercises, which was karate.
Am I correct in saying that Shukukai practical shooting club is in the Boerkaap.
That's correct.
Is that in that quarry area?
That's right.
Oh, fantastic! I've seen that.
It's getting too small now.
I used to train up in that neck of the woods myself, just off the top of Strand Street areas. I know the area quite well. So you practice there? How often do you
Yes,
practice?
yeah. Well, every Saturday I'd like to. Sometimes I do before a match. I do Saturdays and Sundays, but I'd like to do more than that if I can.
And you do all the weapons that
No,
Aisha mentioned?
No, I only do handgun, my Glock 35.
Right.
But I do enjoy the
How
shotgun.
did you get into this?
Well, I first wanted a firearm for self-defense, and when you own a firearm, you need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
So I joined the shooting range, and before I knew it, I was hooked.
How long ago was that?
It was about 2.5 years ago now.
All right. And you've done quite a couple of competitions as well, and you've been quite successful.
Yes, yeah.
When did you enter your first competition?
Wow, that would be a year and a half ago. I did my first league shoot at the other range, CPPC,
Right.
Cape Practical Shooting Club.
So I mean, you've progressed quite quickly to be quite successful.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is it the kind of sport that most people can come and do and can migrate into some measure of success quite easily, or is it a tremendous amount of training? How would you rate it?
No, if you don't know if it's your passion unless you try. So I do
Yeah.
encourage people to come and try, even if they want to be spectators.
Yeah.
And I tried it, I liked it, I bought more than one gun, and that's my sport.
All right.
So you never know if you never try.
Hisham, let's bring you back into the picture here from a cost perspective, and obviously from a sporting perspective, we want everybody who watches TV and every man in the street, woman in the street, to do sport in South Africa. We want more sports participants. How difficult is it to take up the sport? Are the guns very expensive? Must you have your own gun? Can you rent a gun? Tell us a little about the access into IPS.
Access is quite easy if you have a firearm already.
Yeah.
You join up with a sports shooting club, and they have generally weekends. They generally offer training,
Right.
and those who just want to come and enjoy themselves on the day, they can do so as well.
Now I see you're wearing the Pro tier there. Tell us a little bit about competition on a international level.
Okay, and
How are we
I
doing?
represented South Africa in 2011 in the Greece World Shoot, and as I said, that's every 3 years. The next World Shoot is 2017, and that will happen in France.
Yeah.
South Africa fielded about 48 competitors at that shoot, and we did okay. We didn't do great. We did okay.
But I see you shot all disciplines, including shotgun.
Yeah. Well, for that discipline, we only did the handgun.
Yeah.
You get the World Shoot shotgun, the World Shoot rifle, but locally,
Yeah.
at the provincial level, you can participate in various disciplines where you can shoot those 3 firearms.
Bernadette, do you load? You brought some gadgets with you. I've
Yes,
got
I
a-
bought my rig with. This is what we normally
rig?
use. Yeah, it's called the
Alright.
rig. You position your gun in the holster.
Right.
This is a speed holster, and then you have your different pouches for all your magazines.
Let's have a look at
Yeah,
that.
go
All
for
right then. Okay, so folks, here you can see. You call this your rig, right? So this obviously goes around your waist, and you said this is a speed holster.
Yes, you put your gun inside the speed holster.
All right. What's the? I mean, obviously the word.
A rig.
Yeah, personifies the reason for speed, so you can get it out quick.
Yes.
I mean, is that the sole reason? How does it?
The
is it
quicker you
designed
can
for
get
the
it
Glock?
out the holster, the better.
Is that it?
Yes. Well, it's not designed for Glock. Any gun can fit in there.
So when you're shooting, is it a speed shoot, or do you have to draw and shoot, or do you get to stand and shoot?
You get to stand, you get to sit, you get to draw, you get guns in boxes. It's all different.
All right, so I'm having a look here at this rig here. I'm just making sure that you haven't brought any ammunition, folks. So if you have a close look here, you can see this, which I thought when Bernadette walked in that this was a diving weight belt, but it's not. This is the speed rig, right? So this is for your Glock. How many rounds would you shoot out on average in a practice session or in a competition?
In a practice, well, Hisham always says, don't come to the range less than 1,000 rounds. But hey,
Really?
if your budget's tight, I do about 200 to 300 rounds. I try.
1,000 rounds, Hisham?
No, she's exaggerating.
She's
I
exaggerating.
think 500 should do it.
500 in a day.
Yeah.
So you were of one discipline, or 500 of everything combined?
It's
like
different
200 shots?
stages. You'd have at a range,
Yeah.
there'd be like 5 or 6 different stages set up,
Yeah.
and you'd be shooting those different stages, and it would go from a minimum of 9 rounds to a maximum of 32 rounds per stage.
Now I'm looking at the speed rig here. This is a Glock magazine, obviously.
Correct.
How many shells does this magazine hold?
17 inside there.
17.
Yeah, and then you get boots that you can put on, that you can put an extra 3, which I have on my
Yeah.
other weapon, and then I can fit 18. But it's
All right, we've got a little insert to look at. Let's folks, let's check out what IPSC behind the scenes is all about. Well, there you go, folks. We're, of course, talking pistol shooting. With me is Hisham Ali, is the chairperson of the Western Province Practical Shooting Association, and Bernadette Ramicol. Bernadette, so I'm going to use my movie lingo here. So you say there's 17 bullets in this,
yes,
and then 1 in the magazine.
yes, that will be 1 up. Yes,
1 up.
yes.
Aren't you supposed to say 17 in the clip and 1 in the pipe?
You could use that terminology if you want to. Yes,
Really,
yeah. If you want to pull the movie now.
Yeah, I'm going to pull the movie all the time. I mean, I have no choice, you know. So you talk about shooting 500 rounds. How much would a round cost you? And do you load it yourself? I mean, I might have asked you that already.
I load my own rounds. I haven't physically worked out the cost, but it is much cheaper. You buy your own powders, you get your heads, and you obviously pick up your doppies once you finish shooting them.
Right.
You clean them and you carry on.
How long does it take you to load 500 rounds of ammunition?
500 would be about 2 hours for me.
All right.
Yeah, I've got different.
So do you have people coming for dinner and they walk in and then they see you loading your ammunition and going, didn't realize I had something else on tonight?
No, I've got a special room for the loading where
I thought you were going to say you've got a special room for your guests.
No.
Hisham, let's just talk a little bit about the developmental angle of practical shooting. Of course, transformation is so important in sport in South Africa. From a development angle, how are you guys doing?
We have 2 open days annually.
Yeah.
Generally, in the good when it's not so windy. It generally happens around about March and September of each year. That's when we go all out. Radio stations, newspapers, and so on and so forth. Facebook, Twitters, and so on. And we invite people to come to our open day. The various clubs are there with the various disciplines, handgun, shotgun, rifles, and so on and so forth. And you can bring your family. We give the people eye and ear protection, which is a must. They sign in, indemnities,
So it's an open day, people can have a go. And you guys, just one of the things we obviously have to mention is safety. People come, they're safe?
Yes, you are not allowed to enter the range with a loaded firearm.
Right.
There is a safety area. If it is loaded, you are sent to the safety area. You are unloaded. You bag your firearm. The only firearms that could be used on the day is the firearms from various clubs.
Okay.
There is a safety officer at each range. you are not allowed to pick up a weapon or touch a weapon
So someone's
without
holding
the
your hand,
supervision
basically guiding you all the way.
all the
through.
way. All the
Now,
way.
the club we spoke about is in the Boer Cup, the Ch263 club. We've got a photograph here, folks. Let's quickly have a look at the photograph. Bernadette, this is Hisham. Also, is this where you would normally have your open day at the Ch263 club in the Boer Cup?
Ch263 is only one of the various clubs.
Okay.
There's another one in Deval Drive at the foot of Table Mountain.
Right.
That's where we have our
Right.
open days.
Okay, so of course these are all your compatriots. Fantastic. Hisham, just for folks that want to join, want to find out more, where's the easiest place for them to get hold of you?
www.wppsa.wipsa.co.za.
All right.
The contact details on there, my contact details on there, our emails are on there, everything's on there.
Fantastic. Bernadette, where to for you from here? What's your next big challenge?
Well, I've been sponsored by Glock Burnout Agencies in Joburg, so
Fantastic.
I'm hoping to go as far as I can.
Is that one of their tops today?
This is one of their tops, yes.
All
Obviously,
right.
it's quite hot for me to wear it, but this is their logo. And,
Well, let's have a look. Let's see it. Give it to me. Let me
Yeah.
make sure that we can give your sponsor
There you go.
a couple of mentions. There we go. Because in sports space, folks, I love this top Glock Perfection.
Yeah.
That really is. I mean, everybody knows Glock is like the weapon that you can sneak through. Anyway, I'm not going to mention that. But it's supposed to be the scientific brand, I suppose. Well, folks, it's so important for us to make sure that our athletes get sponsorship. So we have no problem on the Sporting Council to mention the names, as we've done before, of any sponsors who come and sponsor our athletes. So if you're out there and you want to sponsor an athlete, remember there's a TV show that covers and gives exposure to our athletes and allows them to get exposure for their sponsors, like Glock, for example. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Bernadette, thank you very much. I'm going to throw that
Thanks
back
a
at
lot.
you. I'm going to not throw the speed rig at you, but I'm going to put your Glock clip back in there, 17 in the mag and one in the pipe, so to speak. I'm not going to throw this back at you, but thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we're going to still talk to you a lot in the future, as well as some of the other athletes that you've got out of the club. Now you know where the show is, and I'm sure Elton Davis will be very happy to drag you guys out here. So thanks for joining us on Sports Federation TV.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
And Hisham, before you go, well done on all the administrative work that you guys do. That's one of the things that makes a successful sports federation. Your compatriot Suleiman has been on the telephone a lot, so we're looking for lots of great stuff from Western Province Practical Shooting Association.
Thank you.
Right, folks, we'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll start talking about what's happening in the world of spearfishing. We'll catch up with Bruce Sandman from the Western Province Spearfishing Association. Back in a sec. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Sports Federation TV show. Of course, the show that brings you the very best of what's happening in and around the Cape Town metro area. The Sports Federation TV show, as you see behind me, is a representative of the various sports federations that belong to the Western Province Sports Council, which, as I mentioned earlier, is now called the Cape Town Sports Council since the AGM, and the show broadcasts every Friday night from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and then in the morning on Saturday, the repeat from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. My name is JP Nordia. I'm standing in for Elton Davids tonight. He is out injured. And just before we get to our next guest, when we talk about underwater fishing, or at least underwater spearfishing, let's bring you guys into the mix here. Bruce Sandman is the vice chair of the Western Province Underwater Fishing Association.
Western Province Spearfishing.
Western Province Spearfishing. And Derek Dunning, you're the captain of the Western Province team.
The current captain, yes.
Current captain. Well, have you got any? Is someone going to boot you?
Well, it's possible.
No, you're the captain. You're the captain. Folks, big thank you, incidentally, to Origin Fitness, who's come on board as a supplier to the Sports Federation TV show. They sell functional sports equipment, and one of these days we'll get the guys from Origin Fitness on the show to talk to you more about functional equipment for your sports federation. Bruce, let's start off with you, Western Province underwater fishing. I'm going to keep calling this spearfishing.
Keep it spearfishing, it's easier.
We're going to keep it spearfishing. All right, spearfishing. You guys have. Let's show me the weapon. Put it that way. There we go. Fantastic stuff. All right. So essentially, what you guys do is, with the use of this spear gun, is you dive, you hold your breath for a very long time, and you shoot fish.
That's it, in a nutshell.
All right.
Pick the big ones.
Looking at this, and I think Derek, let me bring you into the picture here. This looks more like a sort of a combination of a fishing rod and a spear gun, as opposed to what I always envisioned as a spear gun that just doesn't have a reel on it.
Yeah, well, you don't have to have a reel.
You don't throw this and
No,
then
you
reel
don't.
it back
No, you
in.
definitely don't throw that. No.
All right. Is this loaded?
No,
No,
it's not
it's
loaded.
Is it quite safe?
It's
Yeah,
very
I
yeah.
can hand it back to you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So maybe guide us through the weapon itself. Can I call it a weapon? Is
Yes.
That, all right. It's a weapon.
technically
It's a gun,
weapon,
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do damage with it. Well, there's not much to it. I mean, they're very basic. There's, this is a roller gun, which has got the roller head in the front, which is quite new. So the rubber's already pre-tensioned, so you've got more power with this type of gun.
Right.
In a nutshell, pull it back, load it, shoot it.
All right, let me have another look. So, I mean, I think we've seen this on, probably most people have seen it on TV. Of course, because you guys are underwater, it's quite difficult to get a lot of television coverage for your sport, which I can imagine must be hell for sponsorship, because most people want TV coverage to give their sport the exposure. So you probably struggle to get the kind of coverage that you like. But, we've seen this in the movies many times where people pull the spear back, they put the handle in their chest or in their stomach and they pull it back. How hard is it with these rubbers to pull back? I mean, you're a massive guy full of muscles, and is it anybody that can do this kind of sport?
Yeah, well, you can have different setups. I mean, you get different diameter rubbers.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys use we're actually speaking about it just now. You get a thick 20mm rubber, which is
Yeah.
quite difficult to load. But I mean, if you can't actually load that, then you can go for 2 14s.
Yeah.
And you load 1 14, another 14. So there's other ways. I mean, if you're not a big guy, you can work
Why
around
would
it.
you Why would you use different strengths of the thickness of the rubber? Why different sizes?
More power.
More power.
So different rubbers give you different speeds. Some
Yeah.
rubber is really strong, but others are quicker on the reflex.
All right.
So it's
This
you
is, of
find the
course,
happy balance.
A surgical type of rubber, and then I'm assuming that the reason for the reel is that once you've shot the spear away, you want to be able to bring it back.
Well, you don't need the spear. The idea of the reel is that if you shoot a big fish, you can actually get back to the surface.
All right.
You normally give the fish some line, swim up to the surface, breathe up, and you'll fight the fish from the surface to
All
get
right.
it back up.
The story that they used to tell is that back in the days, I don't know if they still do it. The guys shoot the fish, they get it back, and they hang it on their belt. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
Definitely not in Falls Bay.
no,
Not in False Bay.
Not a good idea. No.
Right. So
You'll attract unwanted friends. Put it like that.
All right. So if you're spearfishing off in Cape Point, off the down at the bottom of the cliffs there, it's a good idea to shoot it, go up to the surface, and then reel the fish back in.
Well, what our other guys do in the Cape, they take like a normal boogie board, and then they put a net on top of it, and then if they shoot a fish, they throw it on the boogie board to get out of the water.
All right.
Then there's no worry about the sharks and that. So that's what a lot of the guys do. Other than that, if you're doing a boat dive, you'll just throw the fish on the boat,
Yes.
get out of the water as quick as possible.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about that in a second because I'm quite interested to find out where the best places are to go spearfishing. Let's take a look at the video. I feel like I've got a weapon in my hand. Let's take a look at the video, folks, and you see firsthand what it looks like underwater. It's beautiful sport. Welcome back, everybody. We're speaking about the Western Province Underwater Fishing Association's spearfishing, as I call it. Beautiful shot there, Bruce. Tell us a little bit more about that footage that we just saw.
Well, the first one was with Derek diving off Dussin, the blue water one. That was Dussin diving. That's where we do most of our yellowtail fishing in the Cape Town area. It's this time of year it starts cleaning up a little bit. We get a bit northwester and it cleans up so we can dive there. And then the other one was actually Durban by the looks of it. But I mean, the dirty water was in Durban. We actually got the clean water footage for Cape Town.
When you're talking about cleanup, you're obviously talking about the visibility.
That's
Derek,
key.
how important is visibility? Obviously, I mean, you've got to see what you're shooting.
And you've got to see what's around you, especially when you're in the Cape. We've actually had the last 2 days, I've actually gone diving off the Antipolis wreck, but it's in a reserve, so you actually free dive.
Yes.
And we've had clean, I mean, 20 meter plus viz. The problem is when it's clean that side, it means it's cold. So we've been diving in 9-degree water. So that's never fun, but viz is important.
My experience of diving is limited to diving per lemoen of gif kommetjie. So, you know, that would be bringing back probably more per lemoen back in the day than I was supposed to bring.
I was going to say, it's probably back in the day.
Yes, no, it's back in the day. So that's my diving experience. I've got a fair understanding of what it means to be on surface and moving along. So what I'm curious is, and we spoke about this, is that obviously you guys have to be able to get down there and remain very still and wait for the prey, so to speak.
Yes.
Well, it depends on what you're hunting. Effectively, you're hunting.
Yes.
Yellowtail, often they'll come up to.
Prey would be the right word.
Prey would be the right word. But you're hunting fish. Each one of them have a different. Galjoen don't just come into you. They very skittish. Yellowtail, often, if you're diving with a flash in the water, which is basically a synthetic little fish that you throw in, and it attracts them, yellowtail will come in that you can get your gun, you can touch him with a gun before shooting it. Sometimes you've got to take long-range shots. It all depends on what you're hunting and where you're hunting.
I want to bring Derek into the picture. Derek, you're the captain of the Western Province team. Just quickly tell us about how do you compete? I mean, is it a question of the size of the fish? Because you're talking here about different types of prey. So when you go down, how do you... What are the benchmarks that make you win on the day? Call it that.
Well, on a national level, we normally do 4 days of diving, normally 6 hours a day. Obviously, that's start to finish. We get on the boats, move, and all the rest of it. When we did last year's nationals in PE, you're allowed to weigh in 10 fish, and it works according to weight. They have a maxi, where you can get, I think it was a 4 kilo maxi. So if you shoot a 5 kilo yellowtail, that's 5 points. You get 4 for the fish and one for the fish. And
so is it a point per kilo?
It's no. Yeah, 4 up to maximum of 4 kilos.
All right.
So the maximum points you can get for a fish is 5.
Right.
But when we did Natal this year, they had a different system where certain fish, the fish that were harder to shoot, they gave you more points for, even though the smaller fish.
So it was sort of a weighted.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
it's like a handicap for the fish.
I mean, it's a harder fish to shoot, so you got more points for it. Now you get some really dumb fish will swim right up to you, so you don't get very much.
Do you get a lot of that?
Yeah, you get a lot of that. So it goes according to points, and then the guy with the highest points wins.
So how's Western Province doing from a national point of view? Are we competing? Are we winning?
We used to be really good. We've just started up again last year. We're getting back into it. I mean, we're still trying to build up the team.
What do you need as Western Province underwater fishing? And I don't know, Bruce, you're the chairman and you're the captain. What do you guys need to develop your sport and make it better? I mean, apart from sponsorship.
More divers.
More divers.
More divers,
I mean,
better
all
visibility.
right, so we've got it. More divers and
better visibility.
Better visibility, yes, and warmer water. But I mean, that's what that isn't that the beauty of Cape Town, though. You know, it's the two oceans. We've got warm water on Falls Bay, cold water on the Atlantic side. But that, of course, means you also have to choose which side you want to go for, the type of fish you want to shoot.
Exactly, and that's where the big problem comes in. Atlantic can clean up quite nicely.
But there's not much to shoot.
There's not much to shoot. You can shoot maybe hotties, galjoen if the season's open, and yellowtail, and that's about it.
Cold.
Where Falls Bay, when it's slightly warmer, you've got a big selection, but your visibility and
is not that great.
your bigger friends swimming out there.
Derek, you brought along your wetsuit. Let's
This is actually brand new. I actually
Is
just
this
arrived.
brand new?
It just arrived today.
Oh,
I actually
really?
just got it.
So you haven't tried it out yet?
Not yet, no.
All right, fantastic. So this is what does this look like? A 4 mil, 5 mil?
That's a 5 mil.
It's a 5 mil
wetsuit.
wetsuit. Now, how important is that in a wetsuit? I mean, you said this is brand new. Did you import this?
It was imported for me, yeah.
Now, this looks quite camouflaged. Is there a reason for that? I mean, other fish, can they see you, really? I mean,
the idea behind the camouflage is it breaks up you as one big silhouette, like a big figure, and they can't really make out what you are. So the camo, some people don't dive with the camo. I like camo. I think I missed the army, so I think that's what it comes down to.
You know what I love the most about this wetsuit, though? is the smell.
It smells
Yeah,
awesome.
Isn't
smells
it just
awesome.
fantastic?
It won't smell like that for long though.
No, it
Yeah.
won't. I'm not gonna divulge why. Also, the other reasons, you know,
Yeah.
we're not gonna tell people what divers do when you've been in the water for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, from a safety perspective, Bruce, how safe is spearfishing?
If you follow the rules, you don't dive on your own. You dive with a team.
Yeah.
You've always got somebody in the water watching you. If you follow those sort of rules, you're pretty safe.
Okay, so we said we want more divers. We're obviously looking for more sponsorship. We've got a TV show. We can talk about diving. We can get you guys back on the show, give you more exposure. We've got just over 3 million viewers on Cape Town TV. Of course, we're on DSTV. On channel 263, folks, if you're watching on terrestrial right now and you've got a friend who wants to watch. And we share all these, the shows all go onto Facebook and onto YouTube as well. Bruce, for the folks out there who want to start spearfishing, how do we get into it?
It's pretty easy. Well, not pretty easy. You can do it with a normal scuba suit. We all started out that sort of way, old scuba suit or
I mean,
old
where can they
surf suit.
contact you? How do they?
Facebook is probably the easiest for
Yeah.
us, Western Province Underwater Fishing Association.
Okay.
But the easiest is probably to go onto Blue Sparrows, which is the biggest dive club, I think, in the country at the
Yeah.
moment. They're based in Cape Town. You get hold of them. They'll
Right.
help you out. The guys will tell you where to go. There are a couple of manufacturers locally in South Africa. We've got Robbie Tech in Cape Town. We've got Freedivers. We've got Rob Allen. Some of the big
Okay.
world name brands are made in South Africa.
Derek, if I'm a newcomer to the sport, which I am, and I want a couple of someone to help me through the process. I've just signed up. I've gone out to and I've bought all my gear, goggles and flippers and snorkel and everything. I look like a golfer that's just trying to get his swing right. Is there someone that can help me through the process and introduce me to the sport?
The safest bet is to join a club. We've got,
Join a club.
I think there's 4 clubs in the Cape. There's
Yeah.
obviously the Blue Spears, like Bruce mentioned.
Yes.
There's a Belvoir Underwater Club. Then there's a False Bay Underwater Club, and then there's also the Jeugenote Spearfishing Club.
Right.
And Marty's.
And sorry, and
And
Marty's.
Marty's
Marty's
is
have
the
a
other
club
one,
as well.
yeah.
Sorry,
They've
Marty's
been around
also
for a
have a
long
club.
time, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got a club as well.
Yeah, those students can dive.
The safest bet is to get involved in the club because they can show you the ropes and it's
Yeah.
safer that way as well.
Yeah,
You're just jumping in the sea.
Show you the spots.
Yeah, I think you have to know where the fish are. Yeah. Derek, best of luck. We know the Western Province is going to do fantastic. When's your next nationals?
It's going to be, I think it's unconfirmed, but it's going to be March, that sort of time next year, and
Right.
it's actually been held in Stilby, which
Okay.
is a lot closer to home this year. So
Well,
we should have a
hopefully
lot
you
more
guys
divers.
get a, make it a bit easier
It's
with the
more like
transport.
diving at home as well. So
Yeah.
it's more type of water and fish, which also
Well, hopefully you
helps.
guys get some sponsorship and lots of guys to compete, which of course makes makes one try so much harder or make so much more effort when you've got someone chasing you to be better.
Well, it's a lot easier to compete when your stuff is paid for. I mean,
Yeah.
this sport, you pay your way, and a lot of the guys can't afford it, so that's why they don't dive it.
And Bruce, from a Western Province Sports Council point of view, welcome to the Sports Council. Congratulations, you guys are heading in the right direction.
Thank you.
Which means that you can probably apply for funding if you're a legitimate sports federation, which you are. So welcome to the council, which is now, of course, the Cape Town Sports Council. And I can't say Stavelena. What's the word that I should use for
Safe diving is
Safe
always a
diving.
big
Safe diving,
thing.
good
That's always
fishing.
safe diving is always a good one.
Safe diving. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. Safe diving.
Thank
very
you.
much.
There we go, folks. This is, of course, the Sports Federation TV. I'll put my weapon down now. Sports Federation TV here on Cape Town TV. And when we come back, we'll talk about netball and badminton. All coming up on the show this evening. Back in a break. Sure. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is, of course, Sports Federation TV, Friday nights. And we talk about the federations within the Western Province Sports Council. As promised, we were going to talk about netball tonight. And with me on the show now, 2 of the craziest girls that I've seen in a long time and part of the noisiest team. They are national netball players. They've just come back from the World Cup. And they, of course, fly the flag for Western Province. Pumza Maweni and Michelle Lawson. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
See, there's that chorus. There's that chorus is what I was waiting for. And the reason I wasn't talking to you guys beforehand, because I knew you guys were both going to get absolutely insane, because I remember at the Western Province Sports Council Awards last year, it was the netball ladies that were definitely the noisiest in the room.
We like talking.
11 of you at one time.
That's how we work.
Yes, yeah.
That's how you roll?
That's exactly how we
You know,
work.
netball, we always shouting everybody on the court, even outside. So we use.
You guys are like sisters when you walked in here. I mean, you're part of the Western Province team, Pumza, but you're also the national team and you've just gone overseas to compete.
Yes, most of the time we're working together. He's my partner in crime. So
Yes, I
love
can
this
see
guy.
that.
Yeah.
This is the naughtiness in both of you. You're
Never,
never.
No, we're not naughty. We're just supporting each other, work together outside and inside on court.
Yeah, I must say you looked absolutely stunning at the awards last year. And for most people won't know, but you're extremely tall. How tall are you?
It's 1.87.
How many feet is that? So it's like 6'9".
No, 6'2".
6'2"?
Yes.
No ways. I'm sure you're more like 6'9".
No.
All right. Michelle, tell us a little bit about Western Province, how you guys doing as a provincial team, and then we can talk about the nationals in a sec.
Well, we are definitely getting better each year. We
Yeah.
do training camps and training sessions before the season actually starts. So I think that makes a huge difference definitely in the Western Province.
Nou, hoeveel dames is daar in die WP squad, so te stel?
We are quite a few.
Ja.
Ons is 'n paar. Ek dink ons is seker so 3-4 spanne. So ons is senior vrouens en ons onder 21's ook by ons in daai tyd wat ons die oefensessies het.
Bonzo, how does a netball player get into the netball team, Western Province netball team? How do you qualify to become a provincial player?
It was not easy for me because I took a long time to be part of Western Province team. There is a lot of challenges, especially financial, and even the training, even the team you're playing. You must playing for the team is under Balvin headquarters so that you can qualify, you can get selected for Western Province. So for me, it was not easy. But if I remember 2012, it was my first time to play Western Province C team.
Yeah.
So I was playing the league in Balvin. Then there is a old lady, Suzette came to me and asked you, please next week, please come and do something for tryouts. And then I came. Then I was selected from there.
So you had to go to tryouts first, and
yes.
do you how does it work? I mean, if I go to let's say a boxing ring, two people fight, they win, then the winner goes to the provincial team. You guys have got how many? 11 in a team, 9 in a team. How many in a netball team?
7 is the lucky number.
7. So you're 7 now. I'm thinking football and cricket. All the other numbers have got 15 is rugby. So 7 ladies on a netball team. So how do you work out how do you compete? When you say you go to trials, does the coach do this? Is there selectors? Do they then look at the teams and see how you're performing to make to choose West Province team?
There is selectors around us. We're playing each other against Rochelle's team, so that we have numbers on top of the skirt. So they take the best player they want.
All right, Michelle, what makes a good netball player? I mean, lately we see a lot more netball on TV. There's action netball nowadays, and I mean it's netball's sort of really taken off and become one of the major sports, including I think. These holiday netball competitions and so forth, but what makes a good netball player for the youngsters out there who want to play netball?
I first think that netball has definitely stepped up, and I think each year we are improving in everything. So I think what makes a good netball player is definitely dedication and commitment, and definitely trusting in your team.
How much do you train in a week?
Every single day, except on Sundays. That's reserved for Granny's food.
Granny's food. Does Granny make good food? Okay, no comment. Granny, if you're watching tonight, the food is really always, it's the best. I've been there for it. It's fantastic stuff. Michelle, you guys, both of you, you're in the provincial team, but you're also in the South African netball team. So we're very privileged to have the likes of you here, the national players. Tell us about the South African, I can't call you the Springboks, you're the Proteas, South African netball team. Tell us about the team and your recent travels to the World Cup.
Well, first of all, I think it's one unbelievable experience to be a part of the World Cup in that it's only the 4 years. And I think that it was the most amazing, life-changing experience you can ever think of.
Yeah.
Because I think that when you are small, you look up to these people, and then all of a sudden you are right next to them, playing against them.
So we're going to talk about that in a sec. Folks, we're going to take an ad break, and we're going to then find out what it means to be looking up to the heroes of netball after you've started playing netball as a youngster. We'll be back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody, at Sports Federation TV. Of course, the show that looks after the federations within the Cape Town Metropole. As I mentioned earlier on, not the Western Province Sports Council anymore. Now, since the AGM on Wednesday night, it's now officially the Cape Town Sports Council. So we're going to see some logo changes, but the colours will still stay the same. It'll still be the Dizer, and it'll still be in the blue and white hoops. That's what makes up the players within the Cape Town Unicity. I'm standing in for Elton Davids tonight. My name is JP Nordier, and Elton unfortunately has injured his hand. Just big thanks also to Origin Fitness, who's come on board with the Sports Federation TV show as a supplier, and of course Origin Fitness is a supplier of functional fitness equipment. On the show with me now is Phumza Maweni and Rochelle Lawson, members of the Western Province netball team as well as the South African netball team. Rochelle, before the break we were talking about the fact that as a kiddie you start out playing kiddies netball, and all of a sudden you end up, and you're obviously watching and must know international players, and then you end up getting into the national team and you go and play against these heroes.
Yes, definitely. I think in the first 5 minutes you're a bit jittery and thinking, oh my word, I've looked up to these people my entire life and now I'm playing against them.
Yeah.
But I think in the first 10 minutes you get into it, and I think that's when you realize that all the hard work is finally paid off and this is what you've worked for.
Give us a couple of names, like big names that you would go out there and play against.
Maria Tutaya, I think that's the...
Who does she play for, Phumza? Who would you say are the toughest competitors globally? I mean, a couple of big names that you've played against.
I think it's Joe from England.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Hudson.
What? Joe Hudson?
It was not easy.
What makes her so strong, so tough?
I think she's moving around the circle most of the time. So I don't like the goal shooter when she's run around and come in, because I'm playing goalkeeper, so I'm not used to run all the time. I like to use my space.
Okay, so is that your position? You're a goal defender?
Yeah, goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper, is that the right name? Goalkeeper?
Yes,
All
goalkeeper.
right. And Rochelle, what position do you play?
Goal defender and wing defense.
So, goal defender and wing defense. Okay. What's the difference? I mean, how do you specialize? Is that how it works? You specialize in a certain position?
I think there's specific things that each position needs to do. So
Yeah.
I think definitely you have to specialize in something to be good at it.
All right, from a conditioning point of view, kids that want to play netball, that are obviously watching the show now, they see you guys, you're the national players. I mean, you're like the best of the best. What do you do? What do you recommend for the kids? What do you eat? How much do you go to gym? Do you go to gym?
Yes, we
Yes.
have to.
Really?
That's how I get these muscles.
You see us, man.
So for the kids out there, or people that are playing club netball, how should they be training? How should they be eating?
I think you need to push yourself, and especially the water. You need to drink a lot of water a lot.
Yeah.
And the veggies, don't fry too much.
Okay,
Because-
not fried
Yeah,
food.
don't fry, fry food.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get
You're gonna get a little bit
easy,
heavy.
and the palm easy.
You're gonna get is this one of the things that the netball ladies are concerned about?
You just
Yeah.
have to eat like a lot of veggies,
Yeah.
fresh veggies, and the meat.
What's your favorite food?
Me, chicken.
Chicken.
Yes.
Do you eat a lot of chicken? I mean, you obviously have to get a
Yes.
lot of protein in to be a good athlete.
I'm eating every day.
Every day.
Chicken.
A lot of chicken. And Rochelle? I think I've said Michelle now a few times on the show. Rochelle Lawson is with us this evening, folks. She's one of the national players together with Phumza Maweni. Players for the Western Province netball team and, of course, the South African netball team. They've just come back from the World Cup. How did you guys do?
We came fifth.
Fifth.
Yes.
Who won? You guys keep looking at each other. You see, this is with the naughtiness that I was talking about amongst the netball girls. Phumza, who won the World Cup?
Australia.
Australia. Are they tough? Rochelle, is Australia a moeilike span?
They are a few of tough chickies.
Ja.
But we are too.
Nou, hoe is die borgskap vir netbal? Kry julle baie support? Is dit word die spelers betaal of ek meen wat het julle ons nodig om suksesvol te wees?
Ek dink hierdie jaar was die eerste jaar wat ons baie ondersteuning gekry het. Ek dink ook omdat Norma Plamena toe gekom het om ons bietjie meer te help en meer insig te gee in die netbal en op die netbalbaan. Het dit baie gehelp, ons het baie geleer en ek dink dit was 'n groot ding vir NSA gewees om ons op daai vlak te kan sit om met die wêreld te kompeteer.
Hoe groot is julle bestuurspan? Ek meen julle het 'n afrigter. Vertel ons 'n bietjie van die bestuurspan, die mense om julle span.
Wel, ons is nou natuurlik die afrigter en dan het ons 'n hulpafrigter en dat ons nou ons mediese span.
Ja.
En ons het ook biokineticus gehad wat ons gehelp het om ons programme uit te werk en hoe ons moet oefen.
Ek wou nou net vra, is daar baie beserings?
Daar soms. Ek dink dit gaan maar oor die manier hoe jy oefen en soms as mens jouself oorys, ongelukkig is daar beserings.
What's a typical netball besering? What is like a kind of a typical injury that a netball player would get?
I think it's definitely
Ankles.
either knees or
Knees,
ankles
yes.
and
Yeah.
ACLs, not
Really?
nice.
All right.
Nothing
Pums, have you had any serious injuries as a netball player?
Yes, I remember 2012 we played in Johannesburg
Yeah.
with provincial. Then it was snowy. and
Snowing?
Then, yes.
Really?
Then I learned like, and I bent like this. Then I got it injured. Ever since then,
Your ankle.
my ankle was hurt till now.
So do you have to do a lot of strapping and you've got to be
Yes,
quite...
I'm strapping every
Right.
day before training, every day before
Okay.
playing games.
But vertel ons 'n bietjie van die gym, Rochelle. You obviously have to be on the court and you have to practice court ball skills, hand-eye coordination, all that. But how do you balance it during the week between netball practice and gym practice?
Well, we have a program that has a gym program, and then we have a fitness program as well, and we have then included the team activities as well for the
Right.
week. So that's incorporated in the whole week's training, which they set out for each day something.
Where's a good place for kids to join, or how do you get started? What did you say? Is it at school, or do you join a club? Or?
Well, I definitely think it's school. That's where you first find your love for netball. And then definitely do clinics. I think that's a very good development for little kids to someday be able to play for the country.
So what about moms and dads and families behind the scenes? How are the family structures behind the scenes? You guys must drive them mad.
I think that we've got a very big support system.
Yeah.
My parents are her parents and vice versa. My mom and dad actually have these hoodies that says Netball Mom and Netball Dad, and they wear it at the same time. So
Really?
yes,
Your mom and dad wear the same top at the same time?
that's great.
And me, I bought a t-shirt for my dad.
I mean, do
who's
they
my
wear
big fan.
both tops at the same time, or do they
Exactly.
separately wear the
They
mom and
wear
dad
it
top?
at the same time.
Over the mom top over the dad top, or separately?
My mom wears hers, and my dad
dad.
wears his.
Oh, okay. So they're not both wearing a mom and dad top at the same time.
No.
All right. See, folks, this is what we were expecting. We were expecting some crazy netball girls, and the netball vibe is certainly a big yes. Rochelle, die gees in netball is sterk. Nou, ek meen, julle ouens love netball. Dis geskreeuery, dis gejollery. Dis wat jy soek van 'n sport. Dis wat julle passie optel.
Ja, ek dink ons is 'n hele netbal familie.
Yeah. What's from a netball perspective, Pumza, what's your favorite component? Is it
Me.
the team? You. Okay.
Obvious.
All right.
Crying.
Is it the team? Is it the coaching? Is it the competition, the adrenaline? What would you say? What do you love the most about netball?
My teammate is very important for me.
Your teammates?
Yes, especially this one. Is the best.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got a real little sister. I don't even want to see the text messages that you guys send each other. Do you have short codes and all that? All right. Where to from here? What's next for you, Pumsa? What's the next competition?
The next competition next year we're starting in NPL, hosting Western Cape team.
Right.
So I think it's starting earlier than everything. So I think starting earlier before SA tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys ready? I mean, you got enough time to get ready, Michelle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rochelle.
Yes.
All night long.
We're
This has been going on for a while now. Yes. Folks, we're going to wrap it up. Before I call Michelle Lawson one more time. It's, of course, Rochelle Lawson and Pumza Maweni from the Western Province netball team and members of the South African netball squad. My humble apologies, ladies, but the two of you are really crazy, and as is the rest of the netball team. I must say, big thanks for you guys for coming on Sports Federation TV. Congratulations on your performance. You're heroes to all of the athletes out there. And I know that the kids that are watching the show tonight are going to be extremely motivated and inspired from just watching you guys and your performance and your representation for Western Province at a national level is admirable. So, Rochelle, thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here.
And Pumzo Maweni, congratulations to you as well, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
All right. There we go, folks. Sports Federation TV. We talk about sports councils, federations within the Cape Town Metropole. And, of course, just a reminder, big thanks to Origin Fitness, who has come on board as an official partner to the Western Province Sports Council, or now the Cape Town Sports Council, and Sports Federation TV. That's a wrap from me. I'm JP Nodi. I'm standing in for Alton Davids tonight. It's been a crazy show. We ended off with the crazy girls, Pumzo Maweni and Rochelle Lawson, Western Province netball players. We'll see you guys again next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.